Welcome back, everybody. We're here for another run of Monster Train, and coming off a pretty hot victory, feeling confident, looking to maybe try one of these expert challenges. As you can see, I've knocked out a few of the easier ones, at least in my opinion. Maybe I'll go back and do those again, record them at some point, but for the time being, work through some of the ones I haven't beaten yet. So some of these I've just used random on, some of them I've picked clans if they look particularly challenging and there's something I think will be pretty good. Yeah, I've attempted and lost at a few of these as well, so... I haven't tried this one yet. It looks pretty straightforward. We just start with the advanced prototype, making our early game strong, and then half our gold means, well, tougher time powering up our units and spells, but that shouldn't scare me too much, so I'm going to stick with random for this one. And we'll be making less money, but we should be able to take early trials pretty aggressively with the powered up stewards. So it looks like we also start with additional ones, so possibly looking to go to a lot of removals, or maybe there's some universe where we improve some of the stewards and they stick around till the end of the run. But let's see what we get, and we can decide from there. Alright, we got the Melting Remnant Exile and Base Awoken. We got our Stealth Synergy here again. Let's see, this is once again Temper the Strength of our units, final boss, so we can try to set up something busted with the Stealth. Sea Lion Hands are fine, especially early. Boosting the multi-striking train stewards will be good. And we can Blaze maybe does something. We'll see. Know all about that already. So our base cards are the Primitive Molds and the Restores. And we have a whole mess of pretty hard-hitting train stewards here. Yeah, and our champion Little Fade, of course. Let's check out our artifact. Alright, so I like Root Split Mask well enough. It can give you a chance to deal some extra damage to enemies that you didn't quite have the DPS for, but Flicker's Liquor leads to some really busted stuff. It allows you to take the really massively overpriced units or just really expensive spells and have to get them reduced. And even when it's not doing, you know, reducing a 3 or a 5 cost card or whatever, you can just chain out some units in the early turns. It really helps you get set up a lot quicker. So. Big fan of that one. Okay, we get the somewhat more interesting choice, I think. The Endless version of Little Fade is really powerful, and so it's easy to just pick that one and go from there. But we got the other two, which both have some interesting applications. The Spike and Slay version, yeah, spikes on a low health unit are kind of interesting. We have all these moldeds, of course, versus extinguishing to give our units a small buff and burnout, and the buff, of course, gets larger as the hero progresses here. Could be fun. We have loads of reform. So, yeah, I guess we have to decide if we want to make this a heavy burnout run or not, because I am sort of looking to also reform these stealth units. I think that'll be quite powerful. It tends to be a strong strategy. So our reform cards are going to be a little bit busy, and most of them are random, of course, so we don't know if we'll get the champion or those guys. In which case it could be a little dangerous to start applying burnout to, say, a floor of train stewards or whatever else we have going on later. And then if we don't get them back in time, the burnout expires and everything dies. So that can be scary. But if we get some good burnout units that we're looking to just buff, then that could be okay. Yeah, as you can maybe tell, I'm not too experienced with both these. I usually just go for the other one because it's been very consistently strong for me. I'm a little afraid of giving my units burnout right now, so I'm gonna try this, and I think once we can get it a few sleigh triggers and get that permanent upgrade to be decent, we can maybe just hide it in the back and not worry too much about the spikes, but give it a lot of attack. For the time being, we'll probably look to reform it a few times and let spikes do some work. Not too worried about these. Again, we're looking to be pretty aggressive about these trials early on. We have the powered up stewards, and we only get half the gold, so we're going to need to really get rolling on that. So let's see, he only gets that on sleigh, which unfortunately here with a 45 health unit isn't looking too great. Although I guess the math works out just right, so that's kind of perfect. Oh, because of the heal, right? I was like, they should be dealing 40, right? But of course this heals for 5, which is why the preview is showing 35, but if we drop our Fade in the back, we should get the kill and unfortunately die, but what can you do? And I'm sure we'll drop a couple of regens here. Should have maybe thought about dropping a unit on on the top floor for a collector, but I didn't want to get that bonus on our hero, so. And the collectors are somewhat less valuable than usual, I guess, 25 gold. Alright, you're dying. Not fantastic news, but I can live with it. Certainly be playing some stewards at the top now. And get our unit back here. And this time he can actually go tank in the front. The spikes will grant him a kill. So that's great. Power him up a bit and deal some damage there. Drop the restore and nothing else to do there. Alright, looks like we can reform him once again. Just have to choose which version, and I suppose we may as well go for the bigger one here. Maybe play him in the back at that point. He does have a burnout, so yeah, actually we'll play him in the front then. Or perhaps I even play him here and get him this kill. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. These guys are already a bit damaged, so I'm gonna put the Steel Enhancer on the top floor for the boss coming in there. Just apply a little restore. Alright, doing pretty well. I actually don't want to speed this kill up, hoping to reform the champion one more time and maybe have him get the kill. That would be great. I will play Steward here though. Sort of to that end. Alright, and we did get a mold though. Of course their stewards are in the pool now. But we get lucky. Just have to do some quick math here. Oh, this kills in a single hit, so I guess we'll just put it in the front and have to kill the boss. Alright, so our hero managed to get leveled up a bit. Yeah, so that's a 13-1 with 9 spikes. I don't know what that means exactly for us. I'll have to figure out a good strategy for this at some point, but for now it's powering up, and that's great. Alright, so we can get another reform card. I think we're good on those. Not really looking to apply. Well, this is kind of good if we reform our champion a bunch. Then later on in the fight we can maybe extend his duration a bit. That could be helpful. So there's some consideration for this. The giraffe, I mean, we could reform it and it's decent DPS, but I don't think it's where we want to be at the end of the day. I'll take the Whiplash. Some applications there. And here, not super interested in the Sting. Nothing really drawing me in that direction. Razor Sharp Edge, again with the multi-striking train stewards, that's not bad. We can get this up to 20 attack. Actually starts to approximate a real unit. And Sharpen sort of in a similar spot, but I think a less impressive buff. I'm sure we'll take an Edge. Okay, so once more our money very limited. So we probably won't have the luxury of re-rolling at any of these stores. We'll just have to hope to get lucky or make do with what comes up. But for now, we'll head to the Merchant of Steel and the Banner. We are on the base Awakened, so that means the Awakened tanks are looking pretty good with their stores. Alright, let's see what's in store for us. Endless we can't quite afford, and then just a basic health and attack. Fine. Alright, and we did get one of the Awoken tanks that are pretty decent. The Spike one is usually better, but this one's not bad. It's that or the Sweep unit, which is also interesting. We don't actually have a way to deal with backline units. Seems to have been a theme of my past few runs, which is actually sort of another consideration for Razor Sharp Edge there. It can play the role of a pretty crappy torch sometimes. That said, there are just better sweep units, and our champion does have spikes, so if we can do something with that, yeah, I think there's enough other stuff we can do, so we'll just take the Hollow, go ahead and give it some health, and I do think we'll end up probably keeping one or two of these stewards. There's just so many of them, it'll be hard to remove them all anyway. And with the multi-strike, they're okay, so we'll give one of them a bit of a boost and maybe look to have him behind a hollow or something. Certainly not spending money on purges right now. And off to the next battle we go. Alright, here we have enemies on each floor for 35 gold. That will certainly damage our pyre. We have basically no way of dealing with an enemy on turn 1. That said, well, I guess he only really deals with one, starting at 1 health there. That said, we should be able to take care of the middle floor, hopefully reasonably well, and I'm not too worried about the rest of the fight, so we'll choose to take some damage here for 35 gold. It's sort of an interesting dichotomy here in that obviously challenges giving you half the money they usually do sort of makes them less enticing, but at the same time, because you're making less money overall, it almost becomes better. So it's a little strange for sure. Okay, so we have to decide where we want this hollow. Do we want it to take 20 damage on turn 1? Not a lot, but I would like to take one of these guys out maybe. Almost certainly playing this at top just to prevent damage, so I might as well just do that. If we reform this, it comes back with 6 health, which means it could take 2 more hits on the following turn if we get to reform it. I could apply an enhancer to it right now, and then with a reform it'll have even more health. That might actually be an interesting play. It doesn't do anything this turn, obviously it'll still just get 1 shot, but when it comes back it'll have more health, so I'm going to choose to do that, and then play the hollow at the bottom floor so I won't get massacred. No reason to play the mold here. Collector always taunting us. Alright, well we did get the mold. That part's good, that means our plan is sort of gonna work here as we get to deal more damage to them. This is not our big train steward, but I don't think we have the luxury of waiting for him, so we'll just need to deploy this. I suppose there's not a lot of reason to deploy it on the bottom versus the middle. We're not getting any triggers this turn anyway, so I guess I will put him in the middle along with a molten encasement, just to give it that extra bit. And yeah, let's pump this up even more, eliminate this final enemy, and then future reforms make it better. And of course we're scoring lots of slay triggers there as well, powering up our champion for the future. That's good. Pretty unlucky draw here, I would say, but we can Razor Sharp Edge an Archer. Yeah, that's about all we really have. So let's see, did we get our big one? We did. Go ahead and put him on the bottom. Play one of these in the middle. And I suppose there's no reason not to play these. So I will, even though they don't do anything this round. And since you're dying, I'll give you the incant. Well, no, because this will die next round, actually, to these guys. So let's just kill this one. Okay, so it looks like we're taking 12 damage overall in fire. Not so bad. Right here we'll want to play a Restores, actually buff up our unit. And there we go, the boss is down. Don't need to play any of this other stuff. We are going to be looking to pick up some slightly better heals than what we have right now, but their stores do an okay job of at least getting us some triggers. Here we have our option of another encasement, but I don't know how excited I am about that right now. They did well for us last run, but we have our champion to try and get back, so competing for that, crushing the Demise, not looking great with the millions of stewards we actually want to deploy. So take a skip. Alright, this is probably the heal we're looking for. Regen is fantastic. With these Rejuvenate triggers, it just guarantees you will get a hit every turn, and 5 regen just ends up restoring a lot of health, so really happy to see that. The stat boosts are fine, but okay, and now we can duplicate and get another Woken unit, or look at the Merchant of Magic and a Remnant unit. Is there anything super exciting to duplicate? The sap actually is pretty exciting. Regen is just how you get these units to really go out of hand. And another Woken unit. We don't want another Woken tank, but we could use some DPS, that would be fine. Versus a Remnant unit. I'm trying to think if there's anything particularly good. We could once again go for some sort of harvest strategy with Molten Encasements, but I think I'd rather go this way. So let's see what we get here. Okay, and this is a sweep unit I'm much happier to see, as this is one that'll power itself up as it slays things. That's fantastic. So our bottom floor could potentially just be the Hollow and the Sweeper, or maybe we do something with the Little Fade. Whatever the case may be, I'm happy to see a sweep unit here. And of course visit the caverns before the duplicate in case we get something broken happening. We got the Bone Dog here. Everybody's favorite little cute guy. So our options are to get a card that we can't play but restores 5 pyro health versus purging a card, and as much as I like taking the dog along, you can give this perma-freeze and it becomes quite obscene. But this being a run that's going to have money problems, it's going to be difficult to get all the purges we want done, so I'm going to go ahead and leave him a friend here in the form of probably one of our powered up stewards. Yeah, I could also see it being one of the Molten Encasements. They're not currently looking great, but we're not going to want 6 stewards. Oh, we should not remove the one we put a buff on though, so go ahead and leave him a steward friend and move on with our lives here. And yeah, look to duplicate our sap. once again, we get pushback Talos, so it's really unfortunate. So our tank is likely to end up in the front at some point here, but such is life, I suppose. Slightly awkward starter hand. I will just go ahead and, well, I want to pump my champion. So I'm gonna play this and play restores on it. The question is, would I like it on the same floor as the champion or not, in order to give it the rejuvenate triggers? I think that has some merit, so I'll try that. Of course, want to do this on the bottom to get the spike slay trigger here. 19 spikes is quite a lot. Starting to sort of understand the power of this. The attack increase isn't so amazing, but 19 spikes is pretty ridiculous. It's just a matter of making him survive the hits, which I'm not entirely sure how you do that yet. But maybe you don't. Maybe you just reform him every time. That's the joke. Alright, now unfortunately this kind of prizes us into playing the Shattered Shell down at the bottom, and having Talos come down and kill it in pretty short order. But I think I will do so anyway. Go ahead and deploy our Train Steward. I'll get one going at the top, even though it takes a boss hit. It's fine, some damage shields. Of course, do these things. Fine. Yep, and here comes this pushback to ruin our day. But it's okay. We did get our champion back potentially here, so we'll deploy you in the middle. That's fine. And then I think try to redeploy our champion up here for more spike value. Getting us some kills, and of course get the big regen going. Unfortunately, didn't get any slay triggers there, but that's okay. Maybe I should have just played him in the middle floor. May have screwed that up, but it's okay. Alright, we got our 20 damage multi-striker here. I'll just play that down here alongside the casement. And we'll do, I guess, one of our champion once more. And stacking lots of healing. Okay, that's kind of nice. It's coming down to where our units are stealthed, so it doesn't really get to do anything. You're burning out. I think I'm okay with that. So get the stealth guy back, I guess. And at this point, I just apply some attack to this. Yeah, his bottom floor a little awkward, but I'm just hoping the regen does enough. And yeah, it looks like he's killing the boss anyway, despite the minor amount of awkwardness. Nothing for a champion to kill if we reform him, so no reason to do much else here. Just this thing with the regen, quite powerful. Restoring health as well as buffing itself every single turn. Alright, what do we got? Ooh, okay. Lots of interesting choices here. The Bounty Stalker, of course. If you can get it to reform a bunch, it comes back stronger and stronger and eventually ends up being really strong DPS for the late game. That's pretty cool. But it does compete a bit with our champion. Spreading Spore is pretty good. It's a way to apply lots of regen on the Hollow and give it some spikes as well for a bit of additional value. But Channel Song, as much as I usually don't like it, it's very likely to pull a Train Steward, and in this case that's great. +20/+20 multi-striking Train Steward is actually exactly what we want, so happy to see that. Again, don't want to second Awoken Hollow. We don't have enough heals to go around. And we can have our Lady of the Reformed as a burnout tank. That's kind of interesting. We can, once we reform our hero a few times, we can put him behind, and he'll get some extra stacks of burnout and get to do a little bit of work. So that's not bad. Versus the Paraffin Forcer applying Raid. We don't have very many burnout units at the moment, so I'm not too excited about that. Yeah, I think I'll try the Lady. This is taking an interesting shape so far. And thanks to the Liquor, I'm not at all worried about energy. I will just go ahead and take the draw. Alright, happy to see a Merchant of Steel and a remove, though as usual in this run we're going to be poor all the time, so it's going to be hard to afford much at this Merchant. That said, going here for 35 gold and health we don't need. The artifact could be nice, but I like the remove, I like the Merchant. We're going to check this direction out. May or may not pick up the unit, the flag there. These aren't exactly what we're looking for. Again, Endless on a Molten Encasement could be cool. We used to have the great success last time. I don't know if it's what we want to do this time. Can't afford all three of these if we do that, so... let's see what our champion's getting. Okay, so it looks like we can either get a little bit better each time we die, or we can apply a buff and burnout every time we die. So this is slightly better now with the Lady of the Reformed. If we can get the Lady, get the, whatever, a Train Steward behind it, have Little Fade die in front of them a few times, extending the burn or giving them burnout, and then when the Lady gets hit, when he's not around or he's in the back, the Train Steward will get to extend his burnout and live. So maybe I'd take a split here. +5/+5 is pretty good. Yeah, why not? This is going to be a bit of a weird one here. Let's check out our Awoken unit. Don't need a second sweeper, and this really isn't much better than Train Steward, so I'm going to just skip here and just figure out what to do with these upgrades. So I do think we want extra health on this. We can obviously reform it, and that's pretty decent, but I would still like it to just have some survivability. And even though this isn't a great upgrade, I might buy it anyway. It's either that or spend on a reroll and see if we can get two better ones, or perhaps we can even do both. Let's see, it's 85. So that would still leave me with 50 for two more upgrades if I do all of it, which might actually be the way to go here. I think that is correct. We'll take this sort of mediocre buff here. And then I said we wouldn't do rerolls, breaking my rule here, we're gonna do one. Okay, and this isn't amazing, but it's not bad. Was really hoping for an attack upgrade for the Shattered Shell, that would help, but it'll get some from the Awoken Hollow, so I'm not as worried about that. So then we just have to decide if we'd rather have spikes or even more health on the Hollow. Both are somewhat tempting, but We don't want to steal kills from our shell, so I think we're going to just go ahead and give it more health. And we do also have to consider, at this point, what our floors are shaping up to look like. You know, in some of the early fights, just kind of play your units and do whatever, but it's time to start thinking about a strategy. And I think the hollow with the shell on the bottom makes a lot of sense to me. The unit on the bottom takes the most damage, and this is where we want to put our heals anyway, so that just makes sense. And then on a subsequent floor where we have 5 space, I think we do go for the Lady of the Reformed with one of these train stewards behind her, and a little Fade sort of juggling in position depending on where we are in the fight. Looking to give them a few buffs and then hang out in the back and do some additional damage. And then the final floor doesn't have anything going for it at the moment. I guess we have some molten encasement to hide a few more stewards. But yeah, all that being said, I guess the point is we currently have 2 floors fully set up, and we're only using 1 steward for those purposes. And the floor we're leaving open is is only gonna have 4 slots as well, so we don't have room for all these stewards, is what I'm trying to say. So we might be looking to get rid of some more of them. Yeah, so I think I will in fact do so. Just get rid of 2 more of them. Even though they're pretty strong still, they're gonna fall off. Okay, we have full heal when they move up a floor. How concerning is that? So the bottom floor is looking to sweep away weak units. That's fine, so they won't make it past, but we won't do that much damage to the front unit anyway. So the question is, can we handle a 90 armor or a 90 health unit on a single floor? And it might be a little rough. The lady doesn't hit that hard. There's just going to be a train steward. So I don't think we get to take this. Just a little bit too scary. We might need the final floor to do something. Okay, it looks like the bottom floor is smaller. Not ideal, but okay. We'll get this set up here. And then might as well get our little Fade dying. Let's see, it would be cool if we could get it to survive a hit so they can deal damage to the marksman, but it doesn't look like that's going to be an option. So I'll just buff our sweeper here. This collector. Such a troll, man. Alright, we'll get the lady going. I'm going to skip out on playing this steward here. What I'd like is to either get my buffed steward or to draw our channel song and get a really powered up steward back there. So definitely not playing one there. I could play one on the bottom, I suppose. We still have 2 more to hit with the channel songs. That's fine. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and toss this out alongside this. And of course, get our champion going here. Let's see, you can count for a lot of armor, so I don't think I get to play these restores this turn, unfortunately. You hit for 30, you spike for 21, so we might as well put you behind, I guess. Oh, wait, this is... Oh, jeez, okay, I screwed this up because, of course, when he dies, he's going to give burn out to this train steward. So that's a little bit awkward, but hopefully it won't hurt us too much. Forgotten about the extra upgrade we picked up, but that's okay. Alright, love seeing Razor Sharp Edge there. What are these guys? Okay, we did get 20 here. Would have been nice to have one in the channel song, but you know, it's okay. We need to actually get one going here. Start forming some units. Okay, sure, we'll play you, and then form our champion, and play him at the front for now, to where he'll give this stuff burnout. That's fine. I guess deal some damage with the spikes. This is unfortunately going to die due to my mistake, but we don't have room for all these stewards anyway, so we'll just get the other one back with channel song and set this up for later. It does suck that he's in our Deadpool now. It's actually going to get in the way a bit. Alright, we did get one molded. Let's see what we get back. Okay, not exactly the hit we're looking for. We'll, of course, apply some healing. I guess our champion's still alive, so that was a fine hit even. Sure, let's make you a little bit stronger and give you more regen. No reason not to play these, I think. And yeah, at this point we're happy to give this burnout, so let's do that as well. We get another kill there, that's cool. Yeah, and as you can see, if these guys were healing, we'd be in a bit more trouble. So. Despite him getting armor, I will still deploy the sap. I think it's just a strong enough card. Okay, well, drew not the unit we wanted, but perhaps the unit we deserved. I think we'll still be okay, and we'll just keep buffing this guy. Yeah, we do need to pick up some better healing. Our tank here is not doing quite as well as I'd like, but it's okay. And yeah, we'll use this to go ahead and get back a little fade. And this time we'll be looking to play him in the back and have a lady tank for him, though I will put him ahead of the steward for the spikes do some work and let it do its amazing damage. So toss this out. Setting up a janky floor here for a little bit of value. We get to sweep these guys away. Continue healing. Just buffing, and it looks like we win. So cool. Didn't even need this. Though I think it's a pretty cool floor. We have a trained steward that's 41 attack. It's pretty good. Regen, of course, keeping us alive. Alright, what do we got? Memento Mori. Once again, decent. We do have some stuff die, but I don't think it scales quite quickly enough. Removing buffs and debuffs, I don't see a lot of reason for. And the Devourer of Death, bit of a tricky card to use if you can't trigger the Extinguish without it dying. It's just sort of a one-shot that's hard to set up, so not a huge fan of this one. Let's skip here. Alright, cool, we got a bigger heal, that's great. Really happy to see that. This guy we don't have room for, but we want him, and the root is fine or whatever, but like I said, we need a heal. Alright, now we're basically broke, so we can go to a cave event and a remove alongside a merchant of magic where we can maybe buy one upgrade. We're picking up a little bit of cash and a little bit of healing. I think I'd rather go to the free stuff. There's still plenty of stuff we can remove. So let's go ahead and do so. see if there's anything interesting. We can afford 2 upgrades, I guess. 20 magic power to consume. Could actually be decent there, and minus cost. Yeah, maybe heavy sail and a focus growth. I'll check my cave vent before I buy anything else. Okay, so we can get some extra energy or get these calcified embers, which will become just free card draw later. We really don't have energy issues, so I don't want this. They're gonna get in the way, and yeah, we don't need the energy buff. And these we don't really have synergies with. We don't have any incant creatures. We, again, don't have really lots of ways to spend our energy, so not that worried about these. So we're just going to leave this alone. And then look to... yeah, I'll go ahead and reduce the cost of this. I think I won't bother with this one. And then we get a remove, of course. So I think one more steward is a fine one. Then I might look to remove one of these. Them getting hit with Channel Song is pretty bad. So yeah, let's do it that way. Our multi-striking bird, and enemies on each floor. We still haven't gotten great at handling that, unfortunately. So that ends up being something like 15 damage once again. And it gives us, what, 75 coins. Where are we going next? We have to figure that out a bit. Are we due for another Merchant of Steel? We have buffs here, buffs here. We do need to buff that. I think because the reward is reduced, I'm gonna go ahead and skip this one. And then we have our sweep unit here, of course, though I don't think anything in our squad is all that susceptible to a sweep. And we got the small farm at the bottom again, that's okay. Play Our Lady at the top. Skip out on the Steward for now, and so you have a slay trigger for Rage. It's mostly fine. Once again, we can't make this live to actually kill the marksman, unfortunately. But I will still play it despite giving this Rage. And I guess we'll just pump the lady here. And I'm willing to throw 2 health for 10 here. Alright, we drew a shell, that's good. So play these things, get that buff, and might as well throw this out so we don't draw with the Channel Song later. It's in our Deadpool. There's a Channel Song, and that's guaranteed to draw the other Train Steward, so I think I'm okay with that. Go ahead and get it going. That's quite the unit now. And sure, just fire one of these off. Get the stealth guy, that's fine. This is great. And I guess we'll get this guy down here. Alright, we got this for free, this is perfect. So we get to play a little fade here. I guess it doesn't matter if he goes front or back, since this guy's sweep and it has 1 burnout anyway, so I'll just play him somewhere. Oh, shoot. Of course, the lady extends its duration. It's nice, stuck in the back. But he'll die to sweep unit next time around, so that's fine, I guess. Alright, we drew all of our saps, and we got more molds. Keep playing that. Just get our regen online here. Okay, we're in pretty good shape. This guy never ended up getting burnout, so you know, let's give him some. Why not? Keep reforming this guy from the bottom. And just fire off more heals. Perfect. Champion dying there is actually okay. I don't know if the burnout upgrade ended up doing what we wanted, but it's at least been interesting. So you burn out 2 now. I mean, the middle four is probably just gonna kill anyway, right? This guy has 11 regen. I'm debating putting this in the front just for the extra buff. It's the main thing. So now with burnout. Yeah, well, let's see, you have 4, that's fine. Yeah, I will do that. Do there, keep healing, and I'll buff this super trained steward. Why not? Oh, of course, we don't get the kill anyway. Oh well. Oh, the boss is actually not dying down here. It's interesting, and you're dying on the next turn, so none of this worked out quite how I wanted to, but I don't think it'll ultimately matter very much. So yeah. Let's try to hit our champion again, see if we can't get him another stat boost. Though unfortunately it looks like the train steward's killing too quickly here. Unless our spikes can do something, we get hit 4 times. 4 times 23, not quite enough. So that's a bummer. Okay, so we missed a little buff there, it's fine. Let's see. Don't want this, it'll get in the way of the channel song, don't have room for this, and stealth isn't hugely interesting. It's not bad, we can certainly play it on our oak and hollow floor, and it works okay. But I don't think it's that necessary here. Second channel song is interesting. Second focus growth also pretty good. And ooh, Bramble Ash. Now that's a spicy one. Our champion currently has 23 spikes, so on his floor this is 230 damage. That's pretty good. So between these two, I've never had a Bramble Lash work all that well. Usually with this, when you have a lot of spikes on a spike unit, you kind of just win anyway, so it's kind of unnecessary, but our champion being a bit lower health could be pretty good. Yeah, let's give it a shot. I don't know about a second channel song. The first one's very good, the second one drops a lot as you kind of run out of units. And as mentioned, we're gonna go here and try to get our Merchant of Steel to do something with what money we have. We get multi-strike. Okay, these are pretty decent. We're a little short for these, right? 115 plus 25 is 140. So we'll have to decide. Let's hit the cave, maybe gives us more money. That'd be pretty cool. It does not, but good chance we get the regen potion from this, and in fact we do. Oh, although, I could have skipped that to get the 5 coins, actually. That was interesting to consider. I think the regen's good enough that we want it. Okay, so then I have to decide between a multi-strike or attack plus health. Our tanks are done, so we don't really need health on anyone. So multi-strike on the Shattered Shell just doesn't actually accomplish all that much. Once it gets going, it'll clear the small stuff anyway, and the second hit won't give it additional slay triggers usually. I mean, it does end up getting a decent amount of attacks, so just like having it multi-strike is good, I guess. It's sort of interesting on the stewards as well, like this guy doing 20 times 3 is strong, but I'll do it on the shell. Means it needs less help in the start as well, doing 6 instead of 3. And then hope to have money for, I guess, the final merchant here. Alright, so far this run hasn't felt especially more difficult than a regular one. Obviously we're having some money issues, but like I've certainly done runs where I don't take a lot of challenges and you also end up with some money issues. Okay, small floor at the top is totally fine. Okay, this looks fine. Well, I say that, but then it's not true, is it? So I was going to say we can just put our little fade in front of the Shattered Shell to tank a hit, but we don't get to do that because it would apply burnout. We do get a channel song though, so let's just see what's in the box first. Okay, great. Means we won't get to buff one of our train stewards for the lady, but I will take this just okay. Since that means we can actually play the shell. And then the middle floor, with our lady going. Let's see, this isn't actually dying yet, which is actually slightly awkward. I think what I'm going to do is play the lady. Actually want this to have additional stuns for her. Then I'll give him attack and burnout. Okay, not much to do here except stack a bunch of this. And Steward in the back. Alright, some bigger units now coming in. We got a bigger steward, cool. We'll go ahead and deploy him. Champion back, of course. And I guess the burnout we applied earlier didn't stick around, so it's fine. Nothing to do with this. Just continue healing, and I don't feel a great need to play this guy at the top. He doesn't really accomplish all that much. So I'd rather just get our buff out there. Probably on this thing. And seeing this, I'm happy that I gave this multi-strike, because it's already up to 36 attack, so it's really doing quite a bit. It's got Harvest, don't care about that. Might as well play this, I suppose. Reform our champion. With Burnout 2. There's 4 waves left, so I'm still going to continue putting him in the front. This looks tempting, but I'd rather this killed itself on the spikes and give me more buffs. So I'm going to be deploying that. Oh, our trained steward is about to burn out. That's a problem. I don't think we can fix it, so should have maybe not played this in the front. I should have thought about that, but I think we'll still be okay. Yeah, I won't be playing this, so just go ahead and take a skip here. Let me just reform that steward. Be alright. Yeah, perfect. We get to bring him back with even more attack. Though he does only have burnout 1, but our guy will die now. So, fine. Let's get rid of that. Our sweeper here getting absolutely out of control. And we get to reform our champion once again, and stick over here. Just, I don't know, I guess buff that, sure, and use some health. Yeah, and this final floor really not contributing in any way. Maybe if we apply some more upgrades to these stewards, like we could play one up here and it would play goalie a little bit, but not ultimately too relevant, it seems. Alright, I don't really see this boss making it past this floor. Yeah, he's dying. We're losing the tank, but we're hitting for like 100 damage to those dudes, I've seen. With the sap boss, I am a little bit concerned about this thing actually, or excuse me, the sweeper unit here actually getting off the ground. If it gets sapped right away, it might actually just not attack, and that would be a big problem for us. But clearly once it gets going, a few stacks of sap won't stop it. Alright, Cycle of Life. Not normally a card I'm a big fan of, but with the liquor it can be made a bit better. But again, we don't want spikes on this because it would steal our slay triggers. It could be okay on a lady, just as a way to give her a little bit more health. But I think it's just a marginal effect, and I'm willing to skip it because the spikes aren't that helpful. And here I will continue to pick up draw. Alright, money duplicate artifact. I'm liking the sound of that. The magic merchant. We can maybe do some of the bramble lash, it's cool, but I'm just not that worried about it. Cavern I would say is worse than artifact as well, so I'll go this way. Pick up a little bit of cash. Okay, we like resin block. Our hero is looking to come back a few times and just get stronger. So cool. Let's see what kind of upgrade he can get. Oh wow, that's a substantial jump. So this only gives him the 1 more attack and 1 more spikes. This ends up giving 15 extra attack to my units, so I like that. And the card we duplicate might oddly be Whiplash. Just throwing that on the steward in the back is like pretty good. It's not really much better than the Razor Sharp Edge though, is it? Thinking about it. God, it might just be even more Wildwood Saps. The regen's really, really strong. Yeah. It's a little bit depressing, but that card's just extremely good. And our final trial is +8 attack. This big payout would be helpful, but with a sweep enemy there, that just puts our Own Sweeper in a little bit too much danger, so we're gonna have to skip this one out. Okay. And, yeah, just doing the usual here. Hoping Our Lady doesn't end up burning out. Yeah, he's happy to just hang out on the bottom and take a hit. Do a little bit of damage. Or should get enhanced. Hey, we finally get a collector. That's exciting news. Have to get our Shattered Shell off the ground. And then get our Fade ticking away here, getting quite a bit stronger. And just got a bit of healing to get our shell off the ground as well. And I guess we'll just, might as well give it to you. Well, no, we don't want to give you extra burnout. So this is fine. The drain here is going to be pretty annoying. We don't have energy issues normally, but we're going to certainly start seeing them and, with 3 energy and getting our units ember drained here. So drew both our stewards. I might look to just get a channel song instead. Doesn't mean I have to play the encasement though. So I have to consider whether that's worth it. Just getting this guy out there. Tricky spot. I think I'm more interested in getting our champion going one more time. Let's see, he has 11 health, burn out 2, so I'm going to put him in the front still. Deal with just spike damage. Okay, our encasement got to be free, and let's toss it out. Unfortunately, don't get to do that, but that means Channel Song will hit when he stewards now, which is good. And then, yeah, keep stacking buffs on this. Alright, we hit the Channel Song, that's good. Go ahead and... yeah, we got the slightly worse steward, but that's okay. And just these, great. Alright, looks like we're leaking some stuff. The lack of energy really getting in the way here. But only so much we can do about that. I'm gonna chance. Nope, we get the wrong unit. That's really a bummer. I don't think there's any reason to play it on one floor versus the other. Just put it on the bottom. Get our heal going. Yeah, I think with the Ember Drain here, that means they're also going to be around the final fight, which is a little bit annoying. Alright, still hoping to get our hero, still not hitting it, that really sucks. Alright, any champions? Get our champion, as expected, helps us to kill this with the spikes as well. And just go ahead and buff what we can here. Still getting drained on this final turn actually for all of our energy as well. So this bottom floor is likely going to fall with no help. Oh, and that's a real problem actually. This guy dying. Give you a buff then. So our plan kind of falling to pieces here. We didn't get to play most of our cards with the most turns. But hopefully we hit... Okay, we hit the Steward. I imagine that means we win. Yeah. So, good job, Steward. Pretty close one. Might be an issue in the final fight as well with the Ember Drain. We'll have to see if we can maybe pick up a few magic improvements or something to help with that. All these cards don't help us too much. Second Bramble Ash would be interesting, except for the energy issues we're having, so I'm just gonna keep skipping here. Okay, this gives us a little extra money. We can maybe afford a cheap trinket, though probably not. I'd rather be looking at a steel merchant and a duplicate, or a magic merchant to remove. What am I removing at this point? Like, the Molten Encasement really hasn't done anything except get in the way, so I'd be happy to get rid of that one. Every other card does something, so that's really kind of it. So I might still try to go this way. Gosh. The energy reductions on some of these spells could really go a long way, but I think Duplicate's pretty good as well, and higher health could actually matter. Kind of some stuff. Can't afford any of this, obviously. Some of these would have been nice. Actually, like, every single one of these would have helped. But that's what it is. Okay, Burnout, Large Stone, attack. Certainly we'll love to get attack here. Duplicate. I don't even know. I'll duplicate the big heal. And I am going to go ahead and remove the encasement at this point. It's really in the way. Can't really do anything with the large stone. Don't want to apply burnout to our train steward. So it's either reroll or one more purge. I guess their stores aren't that good at this point. We have a bunch of saps and the two big heals now, so I'll get rid of one of those. Alright. Wish me luck. Okay, it looks like it's the multi-strikers rather than the Ember Drain, which I think is better for us. It's still going to be tough on our tanks, but hopefully we can get enough healing to get through it. Let's see, this is slightly awkward as we don't have a way to deal with this currently. So we might be looking at not playing the shell, though the shell is of course important. I can't play the Fade on the same floor as that. Awkward first hand. I'm gonna skip playing the shell just because it's not a good way to deploy it. And then go ahead and play Fade here. And look to Bramble Lash. This guy gets killed as well, which is great. I'm not gonna use the sap anywhere. These won't really matter, but I guess I'll play them anyway. Okay, well, at least least we get the hollow going. Then we can rebuy our champion. Which we might have to play at the top, which I guess is an okay place for it anyway, so it would be kind of nice to eliminate this damage coming in, but this should help. And then just go ahead and heal our unit as much as we can, and I'll just buff it too, just because nothing great for buffs yet. Alright, didn't hit our channel song yet, that's slightly unfortunate. We are going to look to get our Shattered Shell off that this time, I think, which means we want to just go ahead and play one of these stewards up here. Rebuy our champion once more. What's he doing these days? Burnout 2. 65 level with 30 spikes. So unfortunately here he would just die to the front unit. Be nice if you could take care of some of the back ones. But as is, I might just continue playing him in front, give my guys a lot of buffs. And I have to decide if I want to play this guy so he's not in the way of his channel song, and I think that's probably correct. I'll just immediately die. Puts him in the way of the primitive mold, so I have to decide which is more important, I guess, and I think the channel song is slightly more important at the moment. We really need to get this Shattered Shell online, so yeah, so I'm going to choose to play this. Just keep healing here. Weight Clash would be cool, but make sure this doesn't die as much as possible. Yeah, maybe we should have removed the other steward, just that situation doesn't come up. But our Woken Hollow looking like it's in a bit of trouble here. This is a lot of damage coming in. We don't have any instant heals at the moment. It's awkward. This is all bad. I'm gonna play this just to get the shell buffed, but I may actually not play the shell this turn. Maybe looking to play a steward in front just to take the heat. On the top floor we will continue to deploy him in front. Stack up more regen here. At this point I'm looking to enhance that guy. Unfortunately we're leaking this to our pyre, which is not good news. Yeah, that first hand really hurt us. We can't let this die. If that dies, I think we're in a little too much trouble. Not to mention, I'm sure this will survive that. Well, let's think about that. If we think this floor is enough to handle the boss, then we could let this die, get the Shattered Shell going. Assuming it can survive, I ain't doing nothing. This is 30, 45, 75. Yes, this would live, and then we clear all this crap out. And then on the following turns, we're just looking to cast some primitive molds, to just throw whatever in the front, and just keep the shell going on these waves while we kind of continue to set up the top floor. But I don't know if we have enough primitive molds to actually accomplish that plan. So I think we're better off trying to make this live and cycle back around to the shell, even though it's kind of insane. God. Oh, man. This is such a crappy spot. Just really didn't draw cards in the right order here. I'm just worried if we don't get the Shattered Shield going, we're gonna just, our Pyre's gonna die to all this trash. Like, we have to keep reforming Little Fade to get in the way with spikes, I guess. But he doesn't really have enough health to survive all this. So I think I'm going to let the Open Hollow die, and I might regret that decision very shortly. Just double checking math again here. So 11, 17 times 2 is what, 34, so 45, 70. So these are 75, so let's take 15, fine, okay. We get our sap back, doesn't really help, unfortunately. Might as well throw the Steward down here. He doesn't survive, but it's okay. He's actually sort of a better temporary tank than the Hollow somehow. And I guess at this point we're stacking Regen on Lady here, kind of going all in. Clearly not how we drew it up. I think we're in for a bit of a rough time, but I just think if we didn't play this unit, we would have died a little too easily. We're in a bit of trouble as is. We get our Hollow back, cool. Toss it out here to just absorb some hits. And heal up our Lady. It's gonna be a tough one for sure. Sure, sap. Firing off the molds. Okay. Find this. Train Steward, not the one we were hoping for, unfortunately. But we'll play him for the discount. I was really hoping to hit the Blaze, obviously, there. God, we're still leaking so much stuff. Yeah, I think this is necessary. Steward's still not surviving by himself. We might just be dead here. Making a 15, so... Okay. Hoping once again to hit the correct unit here, and we did. Have to play him in the front, I believe. Does that do anything? It just killed this. I mean, I don't know. Sure. Okay, so that kills everything. Cool. You're tough enough, which is great. Play you, and just pray that this lady can hold out long enough with the regen stacks. We're still in trouble here, as these guys threaten to kill us. And the final wave approaches. I think we have to get lucky here. We do not. That doesn't help. He's taking 93, so we're actually okay still. We'll just do one of these, right? Okay, a second one of these. Okay, great. Now we reform our champion. I think it's time to put him in the back line. He's hitting for 126. That's still less than Steward, so we'll get him going in the second slot. Keep Steward as much as we can, keep healing as much as we can, and hope this works out somehow. This obviously not doing much. Not even clearing this is a problem. I'd like to maybe heal this up. So we at least can survive that. So 30. Got so much damage. Okay, there we go. I cleared out the trash, which is good enough for me. Just continue buffing this insane train steward. Stack an extra regen. Yeah, this was really supposed to be our big damage units. This hurts. Do we have enough? Not really. Guess we will do what we can, but I think the awkward draws got us a little too good here. Man, that's really unfortunate. This was a fun run, and I think it had the potential to get all the way, but just ended up drawing our cards in such a way that we had to deploy them in a not great order. This train steward going out of control. Needed both floors to actually contribute on the final boss here, so. Alright. Slightly tough loss. But interesting run. Not sure it's actually harder than a normal one. I guess a little bit, but yeah, maybe we'll come back to this or try a different challenge another time. For now, thanks for watching.